Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Joy Asonye Live this beautiful evening. It promises to be interesting, as you already know. If the world is talking about it, we are talking about it. And today, we're taking the touch to the ministerial list. The president, that's President Bola Tinubu, has added former Minister of State, Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, to the list of ministerial nominees. The president has also withdrawn the nomination of Mariam Shetty from Kano State as ministerial nominee and replaced her with Meiriga Mahmood Bungunu from the same state. This was contained in a letter that was sent and read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary earlier today. Well, this brings the list to 48, and there are so many questions Nigerians are asking. Are we going to see more names changed? What precipitated that recall? And above all, those who really worked for the president, are they indeed having hope? Should they have hope? That's what we'll be discussing today. And with me to do justice to this topic is Ima. If you know him, you know he's the best man for this kind of questions that Nigerians have. I'm sure he has answers to us. Ima is a public analyst and a chieftain of the APC, although should I go there? You didn't win your elections.
No, I did. It's well, and I'm still loyal to my party, and we are grateful to God for the opportunity to try our best. There's still more opportunities to come ahead.
Right. I hope by the time those opportunities come into fruition, people will not say you are too old for those spaces.
No. As far as Nigerian constitution is concerned, there is no age limit to any office that one can run. One thing is about the heart and the capacity to deliver the good that Nigerians deserve. So we are ready for it. Good evening, Nigerians, and good evening all. Right.
So we'll just go straight to this conversation. I mean, the president had on Wednesday forwarded about 19 names. That's ministerial nominees. Now he's adding that Festus Keyamo, the immediate past Minister of State of Labour and Productivity. Nigerians are wondering, how many ministries, first of all, do we indeed have? We have about 28. So how is it going to work? I thought we're working on cutting cost of governance.
Yes, cutting cost of governance does not mean the people that have what it takes, the people that have the capacity to be in government will not be in government. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a strategist. He knows what he is doing. When he took over the leadership of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he sat down and did his feasibility study. He knows what is expected. And don't forget also that former President Muhammadu Buhari merged a lot of ministry together. For instance, Ministry of Information and Culture and Orientation was merged together to become one. Don't forget also we have the Ministry of Land, Urban and Housing Development that was merged with Ministry of Works. Don't forget also that there are other ministries that were merged together. So by the time you see that they unbundle those ministries, we're going to have ministries that will accommodate the ministers. And don't forget also that almost all ministries have minister and minister of state. So there are two ministers in some ministries. So just to bring on board men and women that have idea, that have capacity to help the president to deliver on the promise. In this case, the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So today it was jubilation and celebration for the decision of the president to withdraw or to add to what he has just done. We know that the president is thinking and is listening. Is a president that listens to the party, that listens to Nigerians and listens to his people.
If the president indeed is listening to the party and listening to his people, like you have just mentioned now, would you say he has indeed compensated all those who really worked for him? I mean, some of us as journalists we saw several people behind the scenes working day and night, sweating it out to ensure that he emerges, especially in the FCT here. So you just tell us. I mean, I'm sure you know the names, some of the names I have in my head, but
you see, the truth is this: one good thing about President Bola Tinubu is that he's from history. Is one person that believes in reward system,
right,
and at the same time is one person that goes for the best because he wants to deliver the best. So are we saying that the people that he submitted their name, they are not good? They are good, but there are still people that we were expecting,
exactly,
based on their antecedent, based on their track record, based on their loyalty to him as the president. They believed in him. They put in their effort, their mind, their resources, everything to make sure that President Bola Tinubu emerged today. So today I want to believe that is one of the reasons why Festus Keyam's name came today.
Right.
So we are expecting names. People like Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu is one of the vibrant person. She has what it takes, a PhD holder, somebody that have contributed even as a minister of state in FCT under Buhari. Everybody knows what she has done. She has delivered. So I am expecting, because the president is the person that listing, the same way that he corrected either it's a mistake or an omission by bringing the name of Festus Keyamo, I want to believe that the president is going to look again and say, wait a minute, maybe there was an omission on the way, so we must rectify it by bringing people like that. Somebody like Dr. Ramatu Tijani, her name ought to be in this list.
But it's one thing to say her name should be in the list, but we know that without mincing words, a lot of lobbying went into some of these names. We saw the many people who were trolling the halls of the presidency. And would you say she did the due diligence, or because she walked, she sat back? And
let me cut you in.
Right.
You see, there is one thing for you to lobby for position, but there's one thing for you to meet the standard that the president has set. He said he was going to look at competence and reward. And I can tell you, somebody like Festus Keyamo that was brought today, he has what? He has the competence, and he worked and deserved to be rewarded. Right. The same way, there are so many people, we are only mentioning just few that their name comes up immediately. On the immediate, somebody like Dr. Ramatu Tijani has the competence and she has worked. So I want to believe that as the president is somebody that he is very strategic, right. And I know that he is going to look again. There are names that ought to be in the ministerial list, especially now, that should be there. So yes, unfortunately, it's my youth constituency, the withdrawal of Dr. Mariam Shetty, my very good friend. We work together at the Believe and all those things, but withdrawing, the president knows the reason. So if the president has to withdraw or add, so, and for instance Ogun State
has three.
Ogun State has
three nominees.
Right. Another state also has 3 nominees. So why is Kogi having only 1 nominee? Taraba has 2 nominees. Kano has 2 nominees or 3 nominees. Bauchi has almost 3 nominees. So why is it denying other people? So we are encouraging the president, because he is a listening president. Check again, cross check again, and you may see that maybe some mistakes were made somewhere, or if you have to take another action and bring in people that you know that they are passionate, they have the goodwill, they have the political will to deliver on any assignment that you give them, especially in your cabinet. Mr. President, we are encouraging you to look at it again. We are party people. We worked for your emergence. You are our father, and we are saying look at it again and do something about it.
Mr. Imaister, I mean, we all know the credentials that Dr. Ramatu Tijani has. We also saw her very active. However, do you think it is something she would really want to do? I mean, having just stepped down as Minister of State for the FCT, are you sure she's not overwhelmed? That maybe she was even asked. It's one thing for us to stay here and say this person is fit. However, is that person really ready to go back into these murky waters of politics? Or rather, no, let me not say murky waters of politics, yes, but let's say the whole hustle and bustle of governance.
You see, there is a limit, the level you get to in any society, and the people of that society will say, come and lead us, come and serve us. And you have no choice but to listen or to yield to the cry of the people.
Right.
And I can tell you that many Nigerians will ask Ramatu Tijani if the president nominates you. And by the way, it's a call to national assignment.
Of course.
Nobody, let me tell you something. Professor Muhammad Ali Pate today is supposed to resume at Geneva as the chairman of the Global Fund for Medical Research and all those things. That's a global office, very prestigious office. But when the president called on him and said, please, we need your experience, we need your expertise, come and bring it to serve in Nigeria, your fatherland, he left that office
exactly,
and came to Nigeria. And
as exalted as that office is,
as it is, he left it and came to Nigeria to serve. I want to believe that Dr. Ramatu Tijani also, having been to the office, he knows the intricacies of office. If the president call on her, or we Nigerians that knows her capacity, that knows there are several of Ramatu Tijani across, from the women fold, from the men fold, that have what it takes to bring on board, to help Nigeria, to help the president to deliver the renewed hope agenda which the president promised Nigeria. We are calling on her. I want to believe that she won't say no to it.
Right, but you seem really passionate about it. What are those very distinct qualities she possesses that you have seen that gives you this much confidence that should she be given a federal position as say minister, she would work just as well?
Some of us had the opportunity. I for instance have opportunity of working in the Presidential Campaign Council in different directorates, from Youth Directorate to the Public Affairs Directorate to election monitoring, and that gave us the opportunity to see the capacity of different leaders that we worked at the campaign council together. For instance, the Ramatu Tijani was the coordinator of FCT. So she was the chairman of the Presidential Campaign Council, FCT, and every one of us saw how she mobilized from across the North Central,
right,
Kogi State, FCT, for the emergence of President Bola Tinubu. We know her capacity, we know her antecedents, so we are calling on her in case she will have at the back of her mind and say, no, I want to go and rest. We are saying, no sir, your excellency, you cannot rest. We have other people that their name has not come up, and we at different time we are going to talk to the president. Mr. President, these people, they are passionate, they have what it takes to help you to deliver on your assignment. We want you to call on them to serve with you in your government. We will continue to speak about it on every fora that we find ourselves.
Okay, a lot of us did not know that after the Wednesday submission of the 19 list, there will even be consideration for any other list until this recent development of Festus Keyamo's name being included and Miriam Shetty's name being withdrawn. Do you think there's more to come? There's still opportunities? Because some of us have given up to say, okay, this is what we are working with. Let's see how we can attach portfolios to them.
The president has the constitutional right to hire and fire at any time.
Of course.
So that is what he has just taken advantage of. And by the way, by the time he submitted the first name, he never said this is the final list. He submitted 28 names, and constitutionally it's supposed to be 36 representing each person representing a state, and he also has the right to choose from any different quota to be in his cabinet as a minister. So that is what the president had just done. He sent 28 names, then he sent 19 names, and as of today he sends 2 names. That is one replacing the other 2 names. Festus Keyamo from Delta State and Meriga Mohammed Bongunu from Kano State. So we want to believe that Mr. President has not said this is the final list. So if Mr. President send list, maybe Mr. President is listening to my talk, and across Nigeria today on social media, the young people, the old people, they are speaking because they know the people that are passionate about this government. So they are speaking to Mr. President. If he listened and said, okay, I'm sending additional 3 or 4 names,
right,
that it is still within the Mr. President purview to do that.
Okay, so we're still waiting or hoping that he would do the right thing. But questions that might arise in my followers now would be, does it have to be the ministerial appointment for her? Would you say that anything less than the ministerial would be demeaning for her?
No, we are not saying that. The president has right to say, go and serve here, go and serve here. But somebody that has had experience as a minister for 4 years and with a track record of deliverables, I don't think, and as it is today in Nigeria, where are you going to send? Are you going to send her to become a director general? A director general was once under her. Will you now bring her to become answerable to a minister? So these are things. So we are not. But saying
then again, it's service.
The service, yes, it's service. So the president has a right to say, okay, I want to send you to this place. Yes, you know. Let me share an experience with you. One of the governor nominated about 14 commissioners, and they have 13 ministry. 15 commissioner and they have 13 ministry. So then he now said, okay, you are commissioner special duty office of the governor, and you are commissioner special duty office of the deputy governor, and these are commissioners. They are in the cabinet meeting, they attend the state executive council and any other assignment. So Mr. Governor or Mr. President can say, okay, go and supervise and oversee this ministry and see and report back to me. And the reason why, when we move further to ask the governor, and he said he wants to deliver. And don't forget, during cabinet meeting, the commissioners will bring their report. So the governor want to be on a safer side when they bring their report, and they report that the commissioner special duty that are reporting directly to him would bring like a kind of a supervisory or an eye on who you are sending. So the president has the right to say, okay, yes, you are going to be minister of special duty office of the president, and the president will give assignment of go and supervise this ministry as my eye while the minister is doing the work, so that by the time the minister is reporting and you would have reported and say, okay, we achieved A, B, and C, and your report said D, B, and C has been achieved. So the president would have been comfortable. You know, that is one thing that other developed leaders does. So, and we are trying to encourage somebody like me, for instance. Is one of my dreams that a day will come when I occupy leadership position, I give you assignment. Because the reason why there are a lot of failure in Nigeria economy today, when they say you are a commissioner or you are a minister and you go, and who is supervising? When you bring report and say, Mr. President, this is what we have done, this is the achievement, this is done, this is done, this is done, because the president cannot be everywhere. So therefore, if the president has his own inner caucus, they are member of the cabinet, apart from chief of staff, apart from advisors, they have their work cut out for them. You understand? So you have a minister special duty president office that you will send to go on scheduled visit to, for instance, Lagos Ibadan Expressway, where the Minister of Work said work is at 70% completion. And the Minister of Special Duty, unannounced, appeared there and discovered that the work is at 30% completion. So it gives Mr. President the well-informed, space, so that when the Minister of Work is coming to say, Mr. President, we are at 70% completion on Lagos Ibadan Expressway, you now say, no, Mr. Minister, no, wait a minute. Available information to me from my own inner eyes is saying you are at 30%. the Mr. Minister will say, sorry, okay, we just...
or they're just off the mic.
Off the mic.
But isn't that too much work? I mean,
no.
Who supervises who and who supervises?
No,
they are making it sound like there should be a long chain.
No. That is the reason why we fail in this part of the country. You give somebody assignment, you are not putting eye on them.
Right, but that's only because of the past 8 years. That seemed the style of the past 8 years. But for the past 8 years, we've seen a more...
Go and check the Jonathan administration. You give minister, for instance, who was the Minister of Works under Jonathan, Architect Mike Onolememe. He is the one. Is there anybody that the president has said, okay, you are working from my office, because the SA infrastructure under Jonathan's cannot go and supervise what the minister is doing? So, but if you have a Minister of Special Duty President office that will go as your eye and see what your other ministers are doing, they report back to you direct, like your in-house or your group of 6, your team. You see that you will deliver effectively for Nigerian people what you have promised them, as compared to when you put a minister and he goes and is during Federal Executive Council meeting and they come and they bring their report. At the end of the day, you nod your head and Nigerians are suffering because what they are telling you versus the reality are in contraction.
Right. I hope the president is listening. There are
yes,
many
we
more
pray that
spaces.
Mr. President.
Well,
listen.
It's time to go for a short break. This is still Joy Asonye Live, where we are talking about the composition of the ministerial nominees by the president. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back from that short break. We still have Ima Issa, the political analyst, and an APC chieftain with us talk about the composition of Tinubu's ministerial nominee list. So let me just go straight to the point. I'm not expecting you to absolve yourself from your political leanings, but I need you to be a political analyst right now. Are you in all, looking at the list there, are you confident that these are people who would indeed work?
Yes, you see, everybody you see on that list there, at one point or the other, they have worked and earned a name for themselves, either good or bad, at their private practice and in the political space. I want to believe also that Mr. President that sent these names must have interacted, done his own background work on them. So we have somebody like, for instance, El-Rufai, that from being a minister, from DG of BPE to Minister of FCT, right, to Governor of Kaduna State, and now he's coming as a minister. In as much as some youth will be saying that, okay, he would have at least insist with Mr. President, let me send you young people and I will work with you from the background. But then he has antecedent of delivering any assignment that has been given to him. So let's look at El-Rufai as one of a sure game of Mr. President. Also, let's look at somebody like Dr. Betta Edun, the immediate former minister, national woman leader of our party. She has been an SA primary health in Cross River State and commissioner for health in Cross River State, then woman leader of APC. And then she worked tirelessly during the campaign. These are the things that we are saying. People that have capacity, they did not just showcase their capacity in previous assignment that they have held. During the campaign, they show capacity, they show what it takes to deliver, and Mr. President is bringing them. So if you are bringing people like Betta, you are bringing people like Keamo, you are bringing people, so there are other people that have capacity, that have worked. So please, Mr. President, you have to look into your record again and bring on board. So let's look at somebody like a former senator representing Borno State, Senator Kyari, who was the deputy national lead chairman of the party of APC from Borno State. He was a senator, very outstanding person. So you can see that his name is also on the list. So they have great men. Somebody like Wale Edun. Wale Edun was the former commissioner under the Tinubu administration as Lagos State governor. Right. And the capacity that they brought on board, somebody that worked with World Bank and turn around financial investment sector. So you see that these are people that have capacity. And to talk about Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, I've just mentioned him earlier, an Harvard professor, and somebody who was just recently appointed as the chairman of Global Fund for vaccine and medications and all those things, and health sector, a lot of health event that he has worked in World Bank, in Cambodia, the Solomon Island, all the island across the Europe. He has worked on malaria, he has worked on health technology and equipment and all those things. So you see that these are people that have what it takes. So we are somewhere like Fagbemi SAN, an astute administrator when it comes to legal sector, and he has earned a name for himself in the legal industry, like we always said in business terminology. So Fagbemi is one person to look out for in terms of administration of criminal justice reforms and judicial reform in Nigeria, that Tinubu went for the best. So if you look at it also, we have young people. Okay, somewhere like Stella Odutete, yes, he was the immediate past, even he is still in the office, he has not resigned. I'm sure by the time he's sworn in, he will resign. He was the ED Trade and Investment in Nexim Bank. So for 8 years, he was there 4 years, and President Buhari reappointed her again. So if she has not done well, she wouldn't have been reappointed. And
but that's not something you would give the past administration. He never really fired anybody. No matter how it seemed like some of us were screaming.
President Buhari has his strength and his weakness. One of his weakness is his inability to say go, even when he sees that. But we cannot. We are party people. We are his people. We worked for his emergence, and we will have to tell him the truth where the truth is, and we have to praise him where he did well. In the weakness is the fact that he does not have what it takes. And it also boils down to what I said earlier, where you appoint somebody and you are not putting an eye on the person. You appoint somebody. I am not saying this because I remember one of the ministers said on the live TV that since the Mr. President gave him the appointment, he has never interfered in his business.
Right, which is completely not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. I can't give you a job and not ask you what have you done. Is when you bring report and you say this, and then you take verify.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Hook, line, and sinker. So that was the challenge of President Buhari. So, but the fact that he has not sacked them and reappoint, let's give it that, okay, some of them actually did well. Some did not do well. Some ministers in the Buhari's administration know themselves that they did not do well.
Exactly.
But in the same Buhari's administration, there are some that are outstanding. And that's why we are mentioning their names. Somebody like Ramatu Tijani is one of the golden egg, outstanding. So, and Nigerians know that.
Okay, but does President Bola Tinubu give you the vibe that he's one who would hire and fire should he not get what he wants, or should this person not be productive?
No, you see, you know the antecedent of President Bola Tinubu is not one person that take nonsense. If he put you in position and you don't deliver, please just don't come by yourself. Like I used to say to my children, I said, if you don't deliver this, just disappear, don't come back. So I know the man. If it let us say this, we are not casting aspersion at former President Muhammadu Buhari, so we are just opposing. If it's Muhammadu Buhari, this nomination withdrawal wouldn't have happened. They would have said maybe he has found out that okay, something is wrong. Okay, maybe party leaders must have raised an objection, and as a leader that listened, you would have said, okay, young lady, we are very sorry, we brought you before, that means we mean well for you, but based on this and this, we are going to withdraw you. There are other assignments that we will give to you. But I can tell you, if he's under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, he won't do that, because he wouldn't have even noticed that. He wouldn't have maybe perhaps listened to other voices.
Discordant voices.
These are the things. We are not saying that he is bad entirely. Every leader has the good side and they have the weak side. He is not bad. but there are weakness of leaders that sometimes are projected above their good.
Okay, so having learned all we've learned from the past 8 years administration, what do you think Nigerians can do should this cabinet that is being formed now not deliver on the said goals?
We are speaking, and I know President Bola Tinubu is one person that works based on deliverables. He set agenda, long-term, short-term deliverables. So I want to believe that he is going to set agenda. He's going to set target for the incoming minister. You are going to see it in the coming days after their screening and confirmation. You are going to see they are going to have a presidential retreat where, you know, agendas will be set, where portfolios will be given to each ministerial confirmed. So you now see that you know where you are going, you know what is ahead of you. And also, Nigerians has never expected more from a government before, like they are expecting from the renewed hope.
Really?
Yes.
A lot of people will find it contrary.
No.
Because I remember
what I am saying.
His emergence was riddled. I mean, during the campaign,
that is
a lot of Nigerians had said,
you know,
he will not
let me clear you what the reason why I say so. Let's juxtapose President Tinubu, President Buhari, and Jonathan. President Buhari defeated Jonathan squarely, right? So there was no this thing. Now, and Jonathan knows himself that he was defeated. Now, President
That's not
Tinubu,
what everybody thinks, but go ahead. No, I don't think that's what the conversation we want to have.
If he felt that he was cheated, he was rigged out, I know he would have gone to court.
He didn't want to go to court because
if he did not want to go to court, you cannot think that, okay, let's not go there.
Like I said, let's say go there.
Now, President Bola Tinubu defeated PDP and Labour Party square down, but they are saying no. So you see, Nigerians are now divided to either is it true that he did not defeat them, so the expectation is high. The expectation about President Tinubu is higher than before, because some people are believing that in court is going to do this. So at this time he has to be on top of his game.
Exactly.
Nigerians are expecting, so he can't afford to bring somebody that will mess his government up.
Okay.
He has brought former governors, perhaps that some of us has some reservations about, but then we are keeping it till another time. This is one of this thing we are keeping our reservation, and let's see that, okay, that somebody did not do well in his state, he lost his election, and he's been brought as a minister. It's not enough for us to castigate, but we are saying, Mr. President, these are red flags that you need to watch, so that when you set the agenda, are they going to deliver well as a minister? Maybe because the person is not prepared to be a governor when he became a governor, so he couldn't perform well. Now, if he is a minister, maybe he is going to perform as compared to being a governor. So these are things that we are looking at. So, but we know that the President Tinubu that we know is not somebody that will give you assignment and will go to sleep.
Right.
He is going to be on your toe, and that's why we are recommending let him have ministers, special duties, office of the president, that he can send in the night to go and check on another minister who he has given assignment. And we are also encouraging President Bola Tinubu, please have a bi-quarterly retreat to check the success stories, and then whoever does not perform well. I gave myself as an example. I said, if I become a governor, every beginning of the month or end of the month, when we do review, if you have watched former Donald Trump Apprentice, you see that by the time we come to the round table, somebody is going to go home. Are you sure you will be re-elected? Because those are some of the reasons and sentiments that are put into it. If you deliver for Nigerians, Nigerians are not fools. They know who what, even as we are talking.
They do. However, we've also seen it look like this: the president or the administrator, whoever is at that helm in whatever strata, governor or president, you see that their hands are often tied, because there are some, like you just mentioned,
Yes.
we are just seeing in this ministerial nominee list composition. There are some people who you would say, really, you're considering this person for a ministerial job. This person has not, over the years, shown antecedents for working. But it seems like compensations is what is pushing it. And it brings me to the question I want to ask. The president had said he's not all for national unity and indeed competence. Do you think that politics and party politics and the need for compensation has dragged him to end up with the list that we have now?
Yes, you see, the truth is that the truth must be told.
I trust you. You always say the truth.
Yes, when we talked about competence, it's not far. The people in the party, they are not dummy people. That somebody is in they're called politician, or you are in a political environment, that does not mean they are not competent. Okay, for instance, let's take two people that just come to my mind. Let's take Festus Keyamo. Let's take Erufai in this ministerial list, and other people outside. Okay, let's take Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliu. These are people that have what it takes mentally. They are up to date. Physically, they are healthy. Antecedent-wise, they have delivered in all assignments. Right. Festus Keyamo, as an SAN, has run a legal business till when he became a board member of NDIC. Then he was now appointed as a minister. Right. And you can see that all throughout, despite he was a minister of state, that he could do much. I don't know how to speak that English. But then you see every assignment that was given to him, there was no one query, even from Nigeria, as it were.
Well, now it depends on.
I will tell you, we are Nigerian. That's why I'm a member of APC. I am a Nigerian. Don't forget also. No. Don't forget also that I am a trained researcher. I am a public affairs analyst. I don't come on air. I've been on several television stations,
and you will say in the past administration. I love that you just reminded the world that you're a trained researcher.
Yes.
You would look at the Ministry of Labor and Productivity and give them kudos for what they did. And that our labor and productivity, in fact, labor alone, we had strike actions from every end. We had doctors go on strike. We had the schools, ASU, go on strike for months on end, 8 months. What would you say was the?
You see, let me tell you, I and you had opportunity to discuss about ASU here.
Exactly.
And I say something that if I was in Mr. President's shoe, I'm going to scrap ASU. You understand? I employ you. No.
A union. Let me tell you. It's within their rights to have a union.
Union. You can go and do your union. I employ you. You don't determine how me and you is two of us.
I said we're digressing.
No, so that's why now we are saying that you raise that. Also, don't forget that these ministers, they have their assignment cut for them. They are not the one that pays the salary of this union that come up, ASU, for instance.
Exactly.
Now, their work is that to make sure that the labor and productivity, employment of Nigerians, and under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, where Festus Keyamo has agencies that were under his purview, for instance, NDE performed exceptionally well when they had a DG that will not allow the programs that Festus Keyamo came up with, and he wrote to Mr. President, and that DG was booted out, and they brought somebody that made NDE to perform effectively,
right,
by bringing young Nigerians that are skilled and unskilled to have what it takes to work and be paid.
Well, we had also seen the likes of Festus Keyamo come out to say that the office of the Minister of State is almost docile. He was unable to perform as well. Do you think, should he be given that kind of portfolio, he would reject it?
See, he's not,
because we're also talking about Dr. Ramatu that used that office and delivered.
You have just mentioned her name. During the last day, the last section, the validatory section of the Federal Executive Council, I know about 2-3 ministers championed by Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, talking about the Minister of State being, they don't have the power, as it were, so you can't judge them that either they have failed or not. And many a time they are judged by the performance of the substantive minister.
Right.
Where the economic minister failed, and they now say, okay, the Minister of State. And where the Minister of State have capacity to deliver, and it will now bring like a quarrel or disagreement because the substantive minister, who maybe perhaps, let's use FCT for instance.
Exactly, I love that.
FCT, because you see, we are Nigerians, and I am a party man, and I want to become a leader tomorrow. I want to be judged by my performance. FCT could not deliver much because of who was the minister, substantive minister. Everybody knows. Is in an open record. I am not here to say that because he is not a minister today. Everybody knows that is under this administration of that substantive minister that you can write a letter, a proposal, and the letter will be on that minister's table for 3 months. It neither receive KIV nor approve nor we are not doing anything or reply. It will be there. It's either he does not know what to do or is afraid of taking action. In the history of Nigeria, it never happened. And at the end of the day, you will now judge the poor performance of such minister and bring the Minister of State who knows what to do.
Right. However, in spite of these hurdles, we saw the Minister of State, Dr. Tijani, do the best that she could. She was more vocal. She was attending events. She seemed to be relating and engaging with people more. And she's maybe because she's a woman, but she was quite nurturing. We saw the initiatives and programs that she enacted. Do you think, in spite of the lapses, like you said, of the former minister of the FCT, if this is scrapped and there is a minister who is not doing his job as well, or doing his job poorly, there will be nobody who would sort of give him some sort of leverage, so to speak.
That's why we are saying.
So what are you advocating? That the office of the Minister of State should be scrapped? No.
If the president so choose to scrap or create, before there used to be this fight and infight between Minister of State and minister. I think under President Yaradua, then when Jonathan came and President Muhammadu Buhari came, then they now came to an agreement that, okay, when we have 2 ministers in a ministry, then the agencies, the parastatal under them, they divide them into 2 equal and give the supervisory role of 1 to 1 minister, and to do so there you can now judge their performance because they report to each of the supervising minister. So for instance, now let's use FCT. FCT has what we call secretariat. So they have about 6 or 7 secretariat.
Right.
For instance, under the Ramatu Tijani administration, we have the social development secretariat, we have agri secretariat, we have the health secretariat and primary health and all those things. You could see, because of her intelligence, because of her insight, those secretariats perform effectively.
Right.
While the other person, perhaps you could see the result is there for Nigerians to look into. So you see that, for instance, now under Lai Mohammed as Minister of Information and Culture and National Orientation, they have about 25 parastatals, and he was the only one supervising. You can see the performance of NBC, corruption here, DG sacked today, another one. You see that in the history of that ministry being joined together with another ministry, the culture sector performed woefully under that administration. Right. So you see, because there was no supervision, there was no a minister that have idea to say, okay, I am pursuing my own agency. I will not give the DGs, the CEO, or the EDs or the managing directors rest until we bring idea and bring something to make sure that Nigeria become better for it while we are here.
Right.
You see, that makes for the poor performance of some of the ministry. But where you see a minister that have what it takes to pursue and achieve, you see that some of them recorded excellent results. So that's why we are saying, Mr. President, please don't let it happen again as it has happened before. Put your eyes, set agenda. If you are even going to have Minister of State and Substantive Minister, which all of them are minister, set agenda for each and every one.
Right.
And at the end of every month or at the end of quarters, you are going to sit down with them and look at it critically with your own teams of other special duty ministers, not advisor, other special duty ministers that are your in-house, your own eye, that must have gone to check unknowingly to the people you have given this assignment. By the time they report and they are bringing their report, you compare to what you have as your own in-house as compared to their report. You will be able to say you are like it was said in the holy book, you faithful servant, enter your rest, and you wicked servant, please get out of my face.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that, but we have really run out of time. Ima Isa, it's always wonderful to have you talk about Nigeria and the many trending stories coming out of there. Thank you for being part of Joy Asonye Live.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Nigeria will be better for you. The renewed hope is here and the president is at it. Nigeria expect the best to come.
I like that ending to it, but this is where we draw the curtains on Joy Asonye Live. Thank you so much for being part of the program. We'll be back next week for so much more. So have a wonderful weekend.